Yikes, that was a rough one. Um, yeah. Um, no great way to start this video. Um, but I think that, I just want to start out by saying thank you to the U.S. men's national team. This has been probably the best World Cup that I've seen as a fan. They've won their first ever knockout game in the round of 32 against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And, when looking into the preparation up until this game and what led to, the result, I think the big controversy around whether or not Florian Balogun should have been playing, that was a factor, right? Because he had a red card in the game against Bosnia and Herzegovina, right? And, with red cards, you're done for the next game, right? That is what has always happened. And, I don't know how many people are, familiar with the series of events that led to his his red card being suspended. Apparently, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, reached out to Gianni Infantino and basically told him to give it a review, right? Review the red card and say, hey, that's a heap of baloney right there, and go check it out. Um, and I will say the grounds for it make sense in theory, but I don't love the precedent that it sets. And with all of that controversy going into this game, if I'm Belgium, yeah, I want to play. I'm a little, for lack of a better term, I'm agitated, right? You're letting one of my opponent's better players come back a day before a game from a game where he should have been suspended from, and it has never happened that we've seen a player's red card get suspended because a president of a country is demanding that it get reviewed and looked at, right? Like that's never happened. And so if I'm Belgium, yeah, I'm going to be playing pretty agitated and livid, and they did so. I mean, they won 4-1. Like, Belgium were the better team, clearly, by far. And I think part of that actually has to do with the fact that they won the wings. They are winning on both of the wings, right? On the left wing for Belgium, right? Trossard, he was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic in this game. Both of the goals that they scored early on were created because of a Trossard play, of him dominating on the left side. Like, that was as a result of what he was doing. Like, he was dominating for Belgium. And I think that stems from the fact that the players who were supposed to be guarding him in, Alex Freeman wasn't playing great, and Serginho Dest was not good one bit. He was not good. And then if you move over to the other side, this is where it gets even worse. We have like Luca Bacchio and Castaigne. They are both dominating the right side, and you have Anthony Robinson and Christian Pulisic getting dominated. And I think that I want to go onto a little tangent here about Christian Pulisic. For all of the talk that Christian Pulisic has received about him being the LeBron James of soccer, which is still the stupidest thing that I've heard in my life. But for all of the praise that Christian Pulisic has received for him being the best player that the U.S. has had, for him being one of the best U.S. players ever, or him being the leader of this team, he sucks in the World Cup. He is flat out not good. His peaks have come when he has played anywhere outside of the United States. He's just not been good. I mean, in the World Cup, I mean, he's been terrible this World Cup. I mean, he was terrible. Like, Pulisic had over 12 lost dribbles in this game, 11 of which in the first 45 minutes before he had to come out in the 59th minute, but he got hurt in the 50th minute and kept playing, which in that case, the U.S. is playing a man down. And again, when your best player just cannot recognize and doesn't have great situational awareness, that is not good. And I think that kind of stems from a larger issue, being that, Christian Pulisic, just full stop, all aspects of him, just hasn't been that good for the U.S. He hasn't. I mean, I can't help but think that if you were to put Diego Luna on the left wing, that he may have been better than this. I can't help but think if you put Gio Reyna in there, he would have been better, and he was better for the minutes that he played. He was better than Pulisic. And I don't think that the U.S. is going to get anywhere with Christian Pulisic because, quite frankly, I don't think he's good enough for the U.S. He's never been the guy where we've balled out with. It's always been somebody else has sort of stepped up, and he's always been kind of the person who receives the credit, but not much of the backlash, right? And Pulisic, he is getting roasted online for this performance, and rightfully so. He was terrible in this game. He was awful. If the U.S. wanted to have a chance of winning, Pulisic needed to step up. And the only player on this team who I think really stepped up and played above their caliber or equal to it was Malik Tillman. I mean, Tillman was phenomenal in this game. He was everywhere. Defensively, he was putting in good work. Offensively, he had the great free kick. He was fantastic out there. 80% passing wise, right? He created a big chance. Touches, he had 60 of them, right? He was good as an attacker from a midfield spot. Defensively, he had 5 contributions and 2 tackles, as well as 4 recoveries, 2 interceptions, and he won his duels better than other players on this team. Because the players who really, in my opinion, are at fault are the back 3. The 2 center backs of Ream and Richards and Matt Freese. I want to start with Chris Richards, right? He was, up until the end of the game, the best defender that was on the field. Now, that doesn't say a lot, but I think that, he had the most joint defensive contributions where defensively, a tackle, 2 blocks, 10 clearances, and then 2 recoveries, right? He was okay in this game up until the end where he had, a bad play where, lost the ball and then Romelu Lukaku got a goal out of it. But the score was 3-1 by that point, and it was in the 90th minute. So, I'm not going to put too much weight into that. I'm more so going to put blame on Tim Ream. Tim, you've been good for the United States, but this was not a good performance, and it sucks that this is going to be your last World Cup game, hopefully, because this wasn't good enough. Literally, I could count that 3 goals where Tim Ream had a chance of stopping, and he didn't. First 2, we'll start with the first one. It's a ball from Trossard, just a simple cross. Tim Ream stops running. That allows the Cavalier to catch up and get a goal. Not good one bit. Terrible. Second play, or the second goal, the exact same play, exact same formula, and exact thing happens again, except this time the Cavalier mounts Tim Ream and it goes up for a header and gets a goal there. Exact same thing. Third play, right? Freeze, he has to come out and retreat to go get a cross that came in. He's outside the box, so he just puts it on his chest, settles it, goes for a kick, just to clear it and everything. I think he stops at the last minute, and easy work for the attacker who's right in behind him, just takes the ball and shoots it. All right, and Tim Ream again is there. He gets a touch on it, to clear it, but he fails. I mean, right there, if you're telling me that we had a better center back option, I don't think the score would have been as bad. I don't think we win this game necessarily because, quite frankly, we just didn't have any quality in the final third outside of Malik Tillman. But when your goalkeeper doesn't play great, right? And he had a couple of good saves, but then towards the end of the game, he just was terrible, right? A couple of the goals, he didn't even bother diving. And I don't think necessarily some of that's on him, but a couple of goals were allowed because of him. Tim Ream, at least 3 goals are responsible for him. Chris Richards, a goal is responsible because of him, right? If your back 3 is doing that, you're not going to win many games, if any, especially against a Belgian team who is top 10 in the world. That's not going to happen. If your main man, allegedly, who is supposed to be the best player on this team, sucks, that's not a good thing, right? If Folarin Balogun, he is supposed to be the closer and the main attacking player. If he's not getting any service into the box, what do you want him to do? Yes, he had 8 touches in the box. Yes, he didn't finish as well as he should have, but I also can't blame him from the fact that he had to make absolute diamonds while being given nothing to work with. You're asking him to score tough goals when he is the only person that Belgium is truly caring about inside the box because nobody else outside of Tillman has any sort of gravity. Serginho Dest wasn't great. Alex Freeman wasn't great. I think he was okay, but he wasn't great, right? Anthony Robinson, he wasn't great. Pulisic was terrible. Taylor Adams was okay. I mean, there was a lot of okay out here. And if most of your team is below their standard, that's going to be rough. You're not going to win many games doing that, any games, right? And I think that, when looking at it, when I think that how the U.S. could have approached this game, they needed to be a lot more aggressive. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, you got a goal on it. I mean, you had, touches in the opponent box. I mean, more so, quit trying to go for the extra pass. At some points, just fire it. Just rifle it. See what happens. Because there were a couple times where they, quite frankly, just didn't let go of the ball, and, it resulted in a turnover. It just didn't work. I think that was a bit of a problem. And I also think that for the people online who are bashing Mauricio Pochettino, I don't know if you know ball. I don't know how you can walk away from this game and necessarily blame Pochettino for this. Because, I mean, for most of the game, the momentum was in the United States' favor. But if they don't close, chances, and they don't, if your captain stops running on a cross and results in a goal, I don't know how you can blame the coach for that. I think there are some times where you can blame the coach, but I don't think this is an instance for it. If your goalkeeper, instead of clearing the ball, puts it on the ground and allows for an easy, goal, and then again, your captain gets a touch on it, but isn't a good enough touch to stop it from being a goal, I don't know how you can look at that and blame the coach for it. So, I mean, yes, I love Mauricio Pochettino. This has been probably the best World Cup of my life because we've won a closeout. We've won a knockout game. We've won a knockout game. Most wins in a World Cup that we've had. It's been, I've really enjoyed it. It's been cool watching, the entire country rally around, the U.S. men's national team. It's been cool, but I do think that, we got outclassed, and I think there's a lot of work that we need to put in to get better from this, because I think that, the U.S., we have a couple of up-and-coming players, right? We have a couple of players who are improving, right? This team is young. Like, the best players on this team, in my opinion, are young. Balogun's 25. Dest, he's 25 if he can improve, right? Freeman, 21. Robinson, he's a bit older, but 28. Tillman, 24. Adams, 27. He'll be back. Richards, 26. Like, this team will continue to improve. I'm not, I don't want to make it seem like this is a great loss, because it's not at all. But I don't think that the U.S. is necessarily done. I do think that we need to, continue improving on things. I think we need to get a better winger. I think we need to get another center back. I think we need to get another dominant midfielder. And I think once we get that, we can really start to compete and get to quarterfinals. We can get to maybe a semifinal. But the semifinal bit, that's a little bit more, ambitious than what's realistic. Because I think that we definitely can reach a quarterfinal. I think we absolutely can. I'm not worried about that. I know that we are capable of doing it. It's just about whether or not we can execute down the stretch. And we really didn't execute well against Belgium. And, it's unfortunate. It sucks. But I know that this team will be back. I have faith, or at the very least, I'm going to have faith. But this has been, a very fun World Cup. Unfortunate that it had to end for the United States, but that doesn't mean that our content has to stop, right? Over here at the Scoop with Coop, right, we're going to continue making content. I'm going to continue pushing out high-quality content. But if you want to make sure to go ahead and subscribe, it's